Our first recognition is a very special one. It is the Doug Yonko Volunteer of the Year Award. We renamed this award after Doug as a recognition of his many years of service to the Chamber and to Arizona, which he helped make a more welcoming and more prosperous place. I'd like to take a moment and share about the life and legacy of Doug Yonko. Doug was the Vice President of Communications for Hensley Beverage Company and became the face of the company in many communities throughout Arizona. He was actively involved in Arizona's business community and served on several boards. At the Arizona Chamber, he served as chairman of our board from 2012 and 13 and made a tremendous impact on the membership growth and the financial longevity of our organization. Simply put, the Chamber would not be where it is today without Doug Yonko. His vision has shaped what we are. After his tenure as chairman, he continued his service on our board and executive committee. His decade-long tenure at the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce was also of great importance to him. Doug's leadership style was one of humility with an emphasis on serving others. He didn't shy away from opportunities to serve. In fact, he was very intentional about it, and he never expected nor sought out recognition. He was a mentor to many and always looked for opportunities to cultivate young leaders. He just genuinely cared about people. And I'll go off script for a quick minute and say that you can count me as one of those. Often when I talk about why I love Arizona, it's that it is a wonderful, welcoming place that no matter where you come from in the country, you can come here and work hard and be accepted. But that only happens because of people like Doug Yonko, that me as a young law student being from out of state could come and be suggested to me to reach out to him and to have his wonderful coworker Ellen set up a lunch or breakfast at the University Club, as I'm sure many of you have gotten that same response, and to go meet him there and get career advice and life advice. Doug offered me that over a decade and helped shape the course of my career, and I'm forever grateful to him for that. And if I could change just one thing about today and about accepting this new job, it would be that Doug was still here to see it, and that I hope I make him proud. Because right now, at a time when if you go to social media or anything else, it seems that people are trying to score points for being the most snarky or the most mean. Doug was always someone who chose kindness, and he lived that every day, and that's something that I hope all of us could learn from and all of us could strive towards. And common trends that emerge when other people besides just me talk about Doug Yonko without having their voices crack is friend, mentor, supporter, humorous, authentic, selfless, humble, advocate, generous, thoughtful, and servant leader. He once shared his definition of leadership as follows: genuine leadership is something that you don't turn on or off. It's a state of mind that becomes part of you no matter what the circumstances are. Every day is a new opportunity to lead at some level, and it should not come with an expectation of recognition. I believe the greatest and most effective leaders have a spirit of humility. Now it is my honor to introduce my friend and the CEO of Hensley Beverage Company, Bob Delgado, to announce today's Doug Yonko Volunteer of the Year honorees.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone in the room, and to all of those who are streaming in via Zoom. Let me begin by saying a congratulations to Danny. Danny, it's wonderful that you've been selected as President and CEO of the Chamber, and I really appreciate the kind remarks that you just made about Doug. I'll tell you, the Arizona Chamber is a very consequential organization in this state. I've been here for a long time, and this chamber has always advocated for legislation, for public policy that really makes the state a better state and that improves the quality of life for our citizens. And I know under your leadership that will continue to be the case. I've been asked today to present an award, and I'm honored to do so. And I'm honored for a couple of reasons. First of all, as Danny pointed out, the namesake of this award is Doug Yonko. And Doug was my friend and my colleague. I knew Doug for over 40 years. So his loss, his sudden passing, which will be a year in September, was stunning. I mean, it was a personal loss to me. It was a loss to our company. He was just an invaluable member of Hensley, and it was a loss to this community because of who he was. So when I was asked to present this award, what it forced me to do was reflect back on him, on Doug as a person. And as I began to think about him, I thought about, what really defines any person is their character traits. Danny mentioned many of them, but he was a man of integrity and of strong character, and he was ethical. I mean, that was sort of the bedrock, the foundation of who he was as a person. He was also intelligent, and he had great instincts. And he was a kind and thoughtful man. I cannot tell you how many people, young people, have come up to me since Doug passed away and said, Doug was my mentor. And that was the thing about Doug Yonko. He knew that leadership was not just in the moment. It was preparing for the future. And it was grooming people to continue to carry that mantle forward. And it was something he was very generous with his time in doing. And then Danny mentioned it. It was always my favorite quality of his was his humility. He was really a humble guy. So he was kind and thoughtful, and he was humble, but he was relentless in pursuing something that he thought was right. And his compass, his North Star, always pointed to, is it good for the state of Arizona? If it was, he would not quit till he got it done. And all those other character traits that he had made him a very valuable person in that regard. I know many of you dealt with Doug through the years, and you might have encountered a problem, and you might have said, well, the two parties are too far apart. We're never going to resolve this. And then all of a sudden, a couple of weeks later, a consensus has been formed, and you'd look back on it and you'd say, wow, Doug Yonko really played a key role in getting that done. You say, how did that happen? Well, it happened because of the quality traits that he had inherently, that he exhibited all the time, and it's why he was so effective. Now, the other reason that I'm honored to be here is because of the recipients of this award today. I have known Don Isaacson and Steve Barkley for a long time. And when I heard they were the recipients of this award, I thought that is so fitting, because if I examine their character traits, they are so similar to Doug's. They are men of integrity, they're smart, they have great instincts, and they're consensus builders. Like Doug, it's the best interest of the state of Arizona that guides them. And they're relentless about getting things done. Senate Bill 1377 was a case in point. It provided protection for Arizona businesses from excessive litigation associated with COVID-19. They were instrumental in passing that important legislation, and that legislation is so important to our state as we worked our way through this pandemic. So sharing so many character traits with Doug Yonko makes them the perfect recipients of the first annual Doug Yonko Volunteer of the Year Award. So I would ask that Don Isaacson and Steve Barkley please join us on stage.